with what you're doing. So,
yeah, thank you. Hi,
here
everybody. Here we are.
Live.
We're live. We are live.
This is Heart and Soul Connected. Yes. And I'm Val, the person
The
who
dragonfly.
is going to be, yes, the dragonfly crystals, who's going to be asking questions of Aley, who will channel messages and answers from the Akashic Record Masters, because this is reading the Akash.
There you go. For the universal. For the universe. No personal questions today. But if you have a question that would serve a universal, for a community purpose, please ask. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So these are the big box questions. I want to thank you all for being here. We just went live, so a few of you are filtering in. Edward, hello. Barbara, Annie's Gifts, thank you for being here.
Hi, Sue.
Sue Toffee, hello. I am Lulu. Good to see you. Wiki. Yeah, thanks for coming.
And Nico. That's her dog, Nico. He's so cute.
Oh, cute. So cute. So, we're going to dive in. And Andrea, good to see you. Or Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice some people go by one and some by the other. Yeah. Hi, Tanita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanita, good to see you. And
they changed all the names again just to get us.
I mean, my tongue is tied. I don't know how to talk. I can't. And Jen, good to see you. So here we are. Aley, are you prepared, or do you need to?
Yeah, let me just. Would you give me about a 3-second meditation or 3-minute? Just get me into the.
Okay.
Into that.
What I'm going to do? I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath in and imagine light filling your heart. And hold that breath at the top and exhale through your mouth very slowly. Imagine light filling the entire universe. And just another deep breath in. Imagine as you exhale, light filling the universe through your mouth slowly. And another deep breath in. Releasing that breath easily and slowly. We are surrounded by the pure white light of divine source, and we ask Archangel Michael to protect and guide us as we call forth all of our angels, beings of light, and Akashic Record Masters to assist us now to receive information of the highest truth, highest frequency of light and love, allowing us to receive exactly what we need for our greatest good and the greatest good of humanity. As we connect deeply with the Akashic Records Masters to answer these questions of the universe. We give thanks. Thank you.
So it is.
And so it is. Okay, so Aley, what is the current architecture of the universe as seen through the Akashic Records? Has it expanded or shifted vibrationally?
The first words that I heard from the Akashic Records Masters was scaffolding. And I'm feeling as though we are being given information that leads to more information, that leads to more information, that leads to, like a scaffold, like when you're building something. And it's not that they're hiding anything from us, but they're telling us that there's a good foundation underneath, but that sometimes we need to have things revealed in a shorter or smaller manner that might be upcoming in order to protect not only the planet that we live on, but the universe that surrounds us.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And how do new universes or galaxies come into being? Are they birthed through consciousness itself?
They're telling me the divine spark. I'm getting it's a combination of the consciousness of the Godhead, and also planets or star systems or stars that are just ready and primed to be experienced. This is the way that the universe remains with the ability to populate and expand and grow when other universes may die out.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. That is good to know. And is the cosmic purpose behind the rapid acceleration of light frequencies within our sector, or rather, is there a cosmic purpose behind the rapid acceleration of light frequencies within our sector of the Milky Way?
The planned purpose of the universe has been finally acknowledged by these light codes that we have all been waiting for and came here, at least on this planet, to enlighten. As that's why the word light comes in, because it is not only a cosmic 5D upgrade and possibly 6D upgrade, depending upon your consciousness now, but that it is being primed by other galaxies and other areas or other ETs that have already gone through this process. They're telling us that we have worked really hard to go through this process here and lost our light so many times that there is a determination that the light codes will imbue us with the knowledge that we need so that we do not have to go backwards depending upon the choices that man makes.
Oh, that would be nice. Thank you. Thank you, Akashic Record Master. Something to look forward to.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do the records record or store information from other star systems beyond our own galaxy or galactic field, rather? How do they store information from other star systems?
How do they store them? Included in our DNA are the hybrid breedings of other star systems. So we, as enlightened beings, carry some of that in our own DNA for storage in order to bring that to man here. And we also have those who walk on this planet that have that information from their star systems. But we are not sophisticated enough in some ways. There are some that already are sophisticated and understand this, but there are others that will probably never understand it, but they benefit from that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Akashic Record Masters. And what is the relationship between source consciousness and the dark matter that fills the space between galaxies?
They're telling me it's easier to travel, the consciousness to travel through darker space, because there are inroads that allow that ingress to occur as they move through other areas. They're saying that some of the dark matter includes black holes, includes other things that are used for that purpose, but also that telepathy is something that we know here on Earth is possible, but it has always been possible in some of the other star systems.
Perfect. Perfect. Wow, that's fascinating. Thank you. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And the next questions are about Earth's ascension and humanity's evolution. What stage of ascension is humanity currently in? And what percentage of souls are stabilizing into 5D frequency?
Prior to the ascension, there were probably 10 to 20,000 people on the planet that had ascended to the 5D and above. Currently, there appear to be, I'm hearing 1 million. Some people aren't aware of their ascension, and their gifts will come in rapidly. And some of them will believe that they're going crazy or they're having a hard time with understanding what's going on. Some of us are working on that, and we're feeling the effects of those upgrades in our physical bodies and with what is happening currently with the transmutation of energy from A1 Atlas and the sun and its energies. And so what we're saying is that perhaps 75 to 85% of people on Earth are at that ascension level, and the other 25 to 30% of those people will be at that level possibly within the next year.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Please, Akashic Records Masters. Yeah.
Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. How does the Earth's crystalline grid interact with human DNA and light body activation?
The crystalline grid amplifies the light body activation, and we're seeing it more and more outside of places that we expected it, but perhaps didn't know that it existed. For instance, were you to go to the mountain called Shasta in California, there exists a huge light grid in that area, and Sedona and other places. But now we're beginning to see that there are light grids underneath many, many other parts. And some of them are so densely populated that people don't feel those effects. And yet, if they travel through those areas, they will pick up the energies of those crystal grids as well.
Perfect. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. Are we still rewriting karmic patterns, or are we now primarily integrating multi-dimensional timelines?
Part of the population is still living the karmic, and those who are more spiritually aligned are able to move through. Second part of the question again, I'm sorry.
The second part of the question is, or are we now primarily integrating multi-dimensional timelines?
Yeah. Okay. Recognition of multidimensional timelines and alternative timelines are being recognized now by parts of the population who have never recognized those things again. There are people who are saying that they feel as though they had 5 children, and they know they had 5 children, or in some part of them, but they're only 4 children, and they're confused, and so are those in their orbit. So it's almost as though things are disappearing, rearranging, and changing. And the Akashic Records Masters are saying it could be that they did have another child in their orbit or in their life, and that child has decided to go into an alternative timeline. And so they're confused by the timeline shift, but the other person has shifted and is living in an alternate universe. But the people who were left behind are recognizing the loss and realizing that something has happened that they can't explain and they're confused by.
Wow, that just gave me the chills. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters.
Uh-huh.
That's beautiful. So, how are children being born now, say after 2020, different vibrationally from previous generations?
Many children are being born and their soul recognition and their purpose and their past lives are more understood even in the infant state than they were, let's say, at 2 to 3 years old, where a lot of that soul recognition usually comes in and children begin to verbalize. Accordingly, there are some children now that are speaking as early as 6 months old and having conversations with their families. And this will continue. And there are some that carry the energy of other planets, and so they get here and they're completely confused, and they feel overstimulated because on other planets they're not engaging with people in the same way that we engage here. So there's a shift in that, but there's also a shift that needs them to upgrade their understanding, and that's being worked on. And this is the reason why there are so many autistic children that have been born within the last 30 years. But these children that are being born are they are almost as though universal beings instead of simply Earth children.
Thank you. Boy, that gives us a window into looking at that. And someone in the chat is saying, my youngest is autistic, born in 2019, though he's overstimulated and having a hard time integrating. Yeah, that
Wow.
is beautiful. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters, for saying that. So as we've heard before with the autistic tapes and the tapes that are out there, the telepathy tapes is what it's called, if you want to Google it and see that on YouTube, is really about that. So that's really a beautiful window into why they are so advanced and why they are so connected. So thank you for that, Akashic Record Masters.
Thank you.
And what role do solar flares or cosmic rays, human resonance spikes play in the awakening process?
Oh, wow. I'm getting that it's a booster. It's a booster for those who are having difficulty integrating into the fifth dimension. But unfortunately, the booster is putting those of us who have, elevated it at some point, it's giving us over like a jolt of something we don't need. It's like, especially if you're an empath. Oh my God. It's like, giving an empath watching a movie where just everybody gets killed in front of you. It's kind of like that. It's like you can't handle that energy and your body just pushes against that idea, but it's not meant to do that. The solar flares, unfortunately, part and parcel, they're saying, are due to mankind's, not just our Earth base, mankind's inability to balance their own planetary aura, I'm going to say, their own planetary aura. But with Schumann resonance spikes and other things, it has to do with like a booster shot. And it's not working fast enough, according to the Akashic Records Masters. It's like, oh, it's taking too long. Yeah,
Thank you for that, Akashic Record Masters. Appreciate that information. And how do the Akashic Records support human evolution? Do they write themselves as consciousness? Do they rewrite themselves rather as consciousness evolves? So how do you support the human evolution? Do you rewrite yourselves as consciousness evolves? Akashic Record Masters.
Wow. They are saying we do have the ability to rewrite some of the things in our Akashic records, not to the point where we don't know what has happened to us over lifetimes or why we've decided to join this particular planet at this particular time. But they are saying that what goes forward from whatever it is that we are discussing with personally or even universally, that the records can be rewritten as to what's to come. And this has a lot to do with the idea of alternative universes. So if you're in this universe and you ask the Akashic Records Masters, what did I do? How did I do it? They're able to tap into both the parallel universes to see what was accomplished in there. But those who decide to stay in that alternative universe, they'll have their past, but their entire Akashic records may change as they move into their future.
Oh, that's fascinating. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Our next set of questions is about life on Earth, current and future changes. So, Akashic Record Masters, what major energetic themes are influencing humanity through 2026 and beyond?
We're seeing greed, and we're seeing it's the 7 deadly sins. It's like nobody ever learns, and that's a biblical idea, but it is also a generic truism in that self-serving man has been elevated by a collective, and this is throughout the earth, a collective of guru seekers, so to speak, somebody that they believe has their back, but is really nefarious. As we move along, we will see more and more of this uncovered, because even leaders or ideas that we see right now as okay or understandable or whatever, they aren't. And some of that has to do with taking personal responsibility, taking responsibility for one's health, one's purpose, one's body, and how we have a vessel that we can use for only a certain period of time. And we can't wait to start using it properly when we're older. We need to start when we're much younger.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. Are we now entering a phase of greater unity or further division before collective harmony stabilizes?
Currently division, and in most aspects, but there is unity. There are unity to pockets, I want to say, and they're worldwide. They're not simply from one's area, depending on where you are. But there will be a shift. There will be a shift when a major event, and the Akashic Records is saying they're not feeling the need to say what that event is, but it will be a cataclysmic event. And when that cataclysmic event happens, people will come together and they will realize that that's the way it always should be, because usually after any kind of cataclysmic event, people are okay for a while, and then they go back to the way that they were because it was known. But this will really this is unnerving. What they're saying. This is and it's not to create fear or inspire anyone to worry over what it is, because everyone has their contract, at least here in this reality, and If your exit point was to come for you at this time, then that's what you had decided to do. It's really hard to impress upon people because we hold on to that vessel. We hold that vessel tight to us and say, we don't want to leave this vessel. We want to stay in this vessel. But we are going to a place where we're just in a different vessel, where we are expanding and growing in that vessel, and it has a purpose. And there is no ultimate extinguishment of one's soul.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you for that clarification, Akashic Record Masters. And how will communities and relationships transform as more people embody their higher frequency living?
I'm seeing once that the complete destruction of the media occurs, people will only have themselves to receive information by. There will be something that will come in that will take its place, that is more heart-centered and more light-centered. It will take a while for that to occur, but people will begin to see that, much like a movie that was made many years ago, we are all living in our own TV show or movie, and we're watching it as we go. Once we stop looking at only our movie, and we understand that our movie impacts all the people around us, all the people on the planet, all the people that, or all the extraterrestrials who assist us. Once we see that we're part of the whole, but we aren't the whole. And it's the ego that dies eventually, which is, it may take longer than we expect, but it's working toward that goal.
Thank you so much, Akashic Record Masters, for that look into that. And what is the future of healing? Will it shift fully into frequency-based light body restoration?
Absolutely. They're saying it's already happening. We already have systems in place that people have been downloaded to receive. We have healers that do a multitude of things, such as Qigong and Reiki, long distance healing, and working with light codes and emotion codes. And these things are almost instantaneous to people who ask for them and those that can help them. And we're beginning to trust that more and more than we did in the past, and trust our own inner knowing as to why it is that we are dealing with situations in health or in our outer world that are related to not fully embracing the idea of protecting the aura, protecting of ourselves. We don't think about it. We go out the door and we go about our day. And if we only can write a note that says, do this before you walk out the door, we'd be better off.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful message, Akashic Record Masters. Thank you for that. And are the Earth's natural elements, water, crystal, flora, evolving to support new human biology?
Wow. They're saying that there are actually multiple places on the Earth within rainforests or forests. It doesn't have to be rainforest. Forests and streaming beds, not ponds, but lakes where you can go into the lake. It's like a healing. They're showing me a healing. They're showing me like a baptism in a way.
We need to know where those are.
I really, yeah. Can you give me an idea where some of these are? Yeah, they're saying Lourdes is one of the places that it's already happened, and some of that also is because Mother Mary energy is there, and oh, I'm getting Canada. I'm getting southern areas in Canada and northern areas within the contiguous United States for those who live here. I'm seeing in forested areas, Brazilian rainforests. I'm seeing UK. UK is very special anyway, and they're finally finding some of the other Stonehenge areas that have been so deeply buried under the ground due to time movements. A lot of these things they'll be found eventually, but they have to go dig deep. They're saying dig deeper, dig deeper, dig deeper. Things are below. Yeah.
Oh, good to know that. Thank you for some of those places. That's an exciting concept.
Yeah. I'm going on a trip now, I think, Akashic Records Master.
So thank you for that, Akashic Record Masters. How do technology and AI fit within the divine plan? Are they part of the ascension mechanism?
They're saying that we need to be warned. It has its uses, but ultimately, there is some worry that this technology may take out those people that are lower vibration because they can't understand the difference between their own thinking and the quote thinking of the artificial intelligence. They're saying that more heart-centered and head-centered people need to be importing the data, that there's a lot of data in there that is nefarious, and they're saying limit use, but realize it's like garbage in, garbage out. So it's like when we first had the internet explode here. That was one of the things that was said, and they're repeating that. They're saying be very, very careful. You can use it to, for your own use, but there are some things that are not really helping the collective. They're actually pulling down some of the people that haven't been able to rise.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And this next bunch of questions group is about astrology, time, and frequency. And as humanity ascends, do the planetary and zodiacal influences still hold sway over us?
They're saying yes, that because we are all surrounded by stars and planets in every single galaxy, we have to take into account the patterns in the sky that bring us. The patterns in the sky actually are more reliable than AI, is what they're saying. That this is something that has been documented for hundreds of thousands, at least thousands of years. And they're saying the problem is that this area in which we are coming into currently with the astrological aspects is something that no one really has ever documented before, because we haven't lived in that energy before. And that's why everything seems to be so difficult and hard to understand. You can understand what the concepts are, but you don't understand exactly how those concepts might play out like you would have if it happened 200 years ago or 300 or even 1,000 years ago. You can go back and look at documented history of the time period. Whereas if you're going back, 30 million years or something, nobody sat there and wrote all about this. So although it's carried in our DNA and it's carried in the Akashic records as well, so we can find that out. You can find that out by asking the Akashic records masters. They're saying, trust the systems that have been reliable for you, and just be careful of newer systems until you fully understand what their reasoning is.
Okay, thank you so much, Akashic Record Masters. Are star charts being recalibrated as Earth shifts dimensionally and magnetically?
There is some recalibration being done. And of course, it's also important to understand there are several systems of astrological charting. This accounts for the fact that many of us who have had regular astrological charts done and then had Vedic, let's say, a chart done, or we've had a chart done on what kind of place we should live and other things, sometimes disagree with each other. But once these charts have been input into, they're saying that the reliability is probably more now than it was in the past, because many times in the past chart casting was done by hand. And even though there probably are people that could make a mistake doing it within a computer system, they may input the wrong information or whatever. It's less wrong than it would have been if they were doing chart casting hand by hand.
Good to know. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And does astrology eventually evolve into a form of quantum celestial mapping beyond linear time?
Each planet actually has astrological mapping. And what happens is if a planet or a star system has a supernova, or there's an explosion of a star explosion, or there's some kind of planetary ingress, I want to say, by a comet or something else out there, their chart also has not only known it was going to happen, but has made a adjustment for that happening. So everything has a chart. A person does, actually a house does, when it was first, and who's in it. And they're saying this whole celestial mapping was part and parcel of our evolution process. They're saying it's so darn important. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Alexander Bellino says that makes sense. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad. It does seem to make sense to this entity as well, because it's almost as though when countries change, for instance, we have Czechoslovakia, then we have the Czech Republic. So the names have changed, and the energy changes with it, and the chart changes with it. So there is change there when those things happen.
Good to know.
So it'd be nice to be elevated enough that if any change occurred here that was a good change, that our chart would change with it.
So. Absolutely. That would be fantastic. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters, for that. And how do eclipses, equinoxes, and solstices affect our light body and ascension timeline now?
They are wanting to talk about the importance of ritual. each of these events occurs in a pretty large number of people who are on the enlightened trail, let's put it, understand the importance of the rituals for these things because they bring in new energies each time they occur. And those energies can be transmuted by us in order for us to evolve as well. And so while some of us may not celebrate certain equinoxes or certain times, the pagans who they realized the importance of ritual, the pagans did, and they have their own sort of holidays or Sabbats that they, and each one is to bring us into the energy of those things that occur at that time in our evolution, but also in our time yearly, monthly, whenever they do occur. They're saying ritual is very important, staying tied to those rituals. And a ritual can be, it doesn't mean you have to go to church. It doesn't mean you have to go outside and howl at the moon. They're laughing. Oh my God. But they are saying that these things keep us more grounded, which is just as important as being able to access information from the Akashic records and other more air-based systems.
Yes, that makes so much sense. Akashic Record Masters, thank you. And what is the Akashic perspective on divine timing versus astrological timing?
They're saying pretty much they are one. There's a saying written in the stars. Divine timing occurs more personally and is the accumulation of positive energy and manifestation work. The importance of manifestation work is that it brings you into divine timing. Everything comes when it's supposed to come, even if in the charts it says things really. So it has to do with illusionary thinking or allowing without judging. This is what the overview is, but I'm going to stand in my own power for this divine timing. And that has happened many times for people who, if looking at their astrological charts, might say, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. That was powerful. And in the Spiritual Mastery and Future Human block of questions, the first one is, what does the fully awakened human look and feel like in daily life?
Oh, you humans. You let things bother you too much. And so when your energy dips, and life is life on the earth, we all go through good and bad. They're saying everybody has to go through that. Everybody had a contract. But they're saying the dip in the energies bring in a different look, I would say. It something about the eyes aren't as sparkly. The feeling is less sort of ambulant or happy or uplifted. If you can remain in this, you remain in the fifth dimension energies. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, you have to deal with the 3D world, and you will still have to deal with the 3D world when you're 5D, unless at some point you're off planet or there's some kind of a place that you live with all people of the same calibrations. But oftentimes people will say their families are very different than they are. We don't usually want to excommunicate them from our lives. So we have to learn that balance, that when they're there. But there's also heartache. There's also loss. So the new human is one that is able to be like an elastic band. That's what they're showing me. And remember to, quote, snap out of it, they say, and go back to higher vibration if possible. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Akashic Record Masters. How will telepathy, empathy, and direct communication with Source evolve?
There is some great evolution occurring right now on the planet. And from the choices that those who are more evolved make to help illustrate those concepts to others through classes, through conversations, and the other person willing to listen and critically think and still discern their own truth from what is said and taught. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. Is the human collective creating a new civilization aligned with the monad's blueprint?
They're saying yes, but they're also saying it will take some time. It isn't. They can't give us a time frame on that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. How do we best navigate this transitional period between density and light embodiment?
Move more. I can move more. Dance. Dance around. Walk. Jump on a trampoline. I mean, it has to do with movement. When we sit in the lower density because we are tired or we're at work or we're in the car, we can't move and do this kind of work. But if we balanced out the density with the movement, this will occur. But they're admonishing people to get moving. That's what they're saying. Get moving.
I think that's perfect advice. Thank you.
Yeah, get moving.
Record Masters. I really love that. What does the records reveal about humanity's role in the greater galactic community?
Now they're kind of laughing. Oh, humans, if you only knew. Most don't realize that Earth was a dumping point. Earth was a dumping point for mistakes made on other planets and for new people to come in and be integrated into. They're saying the Earth is, the Earth's okay, but there's a lot more places that carry higher vibrational energy and have less issues than it has. We just, there are other planets that we could not inhabit as humans because we need the gravity and the density in order to stay on the ground here. But they're saying, it reminds me of saying your country's better than my country's better than your country, or my planet's better than your planet. And there are a lot more planets that, and the Akashic Records Masters are just chuckling about it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. Appreciate that. And there's a final block of questions about the nature of consciousness and creation. How does source consciousness experience itself through each galaxy, star, and soul?
Wow. They're saying that each galaxy has different purposes. They all have, and that's going back to that astrological idea again. But they're saying that they experience the galaxy or the planets experience in their soul being their collective inhabitants and so on, as being elevated beings that can assist others who are not. It's almost as though they're saying some of the angels are represented by these other galaxies. Yeah. And that there are probably more ascended masters, and that we are starting to see that here, where people start doing channeling with different masters, and some newer ones are starting to come in, and they are off-planet beings that may not have ever come in. So we're getting more of that. And the way that they experience themselves is they understand that they can impart their wisdom to other people who are ready to hear it.
Good to know. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And are there realms of consciousness beyond what we call the multiverse?
They're saying that it's infinite. Yeah, it's an infinite consciousness, and but I'm feeling that each one of them, different galaxies, and they each have a purpose, but they all are interested in the growth of the universe. And so there is a exponential universe, they're saying, that we may never really truly know the whole purpose or the whole understanding of, because it is, as you say, on your planet, it is infinity. It's infinity. I'm getting the eights. The eight.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. That's vast.
It's very big. Yeah.
What role does imagination play in the act of cosmic creation?
Oh, that's beautiful. They're showing me, because I work so much in movie realms and book realms, this entity does, not the Akashic Records Masters. I'm just seeing, if you build it, they will come from Field of Dreams. It's like, and that's imagination. It's like, if you really can believe in it, then you will see it. You don't have to see it to believe it. You have to believe it in order to see it. And that's what imagination helps you with.
I love that. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And this relates to it. How does sound frequency or vibration shape the fabric of reality itself?
On your planet, on planet Earth, there are very beautiful sounds that are made. And at some point, some of those sounds were sitting a little close to the negative sounds, because there are negative sounds as well as beautiful sounds. And at some point, those negative sounds sort of overtook them. And we're working with the catch-up right now in order to catch up to them. It's very, very important to our vibration. It's using tuning forks that you have invented there, and finding bowls in order to hear the beautiful melodic sounds that cannot be reproduced usually bowl to bowl. Every bowl is different. But it also says that listening to, let's say, heavy metal, rap, some of the rap music is what some vibrations are. That's why they stay where they are. There's a multitude of other reasons, but sound is very, very important to their elevation as well. So try, even if you go into songs or sounds that are a little nefarious, they say try to balance that out with the beauty of some of the beauty of the works of the masters, is what they're saying.
Ooh, thank you. That sounds wonderful. And do parallel versions of ourselves exist in other dimensional timelines, and do they influence our choices here?
Oh, it reminds me of the old devil on this shoulder and angel on this shoulder. I'm getting that parallel universes actually also contain our shadow side more, and that the good parts of us are the shadow, if you get my drift. It's like, and we'd like it to stay there, please, because there are things that, and this is has to do with, I mean, we are fully integrated, and yet at the same time we're not, because we can turn to that shadow. This is why serial killers exist. Yeah, okay. And people who seem to be very, very, I know there is mental illness, and the Akashic Records Masters are not making fun of anything or any way that a person has no, there's no judgment of anybody, but they are saying that people who carry more of the negative energies, they are probably carrying or bringing in the alternative side of who they are when they do some of the things or make the choices they do. Yeah.
Okay, that's fascinating. Thank you, Akashic Record Masters. And what is the Akashic perspective on how thought becomes form within the quantum field, which is part of manifesting?
They're not sure why people doubt they can do it when it's easily done, they're saying. Their perspective is there are so many tools that in this particular universe or this particular planet that we are simply just not using, that can bring us, it can bring us more joy, it can uplift us, it can make manifest the things that we want. But they're also not, they're saying most humans don't understand that they should never ask for what they don't want. In other words, don't say, oh, I never want to do this, because they don't hear that. They hear, I want to do this, and they want to please you. You know, they want to make you happy. And so be very, very specific when you do your affirmations and manifestations. Say what it is you want as though it already exists, and live as though it already exists. They're saying this is one of the most important questions you could ask the Akashic Records Masters. They're saying it's vital. It's vital. Yeah.
That's absolutely. Thank you so much, Akashic Record Masters. That was actually our last question, and this has been very enlightening. Thank you. And thank you, Aley, for being the conduit for this show and all these wonderful answers that really help us see.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this. They were just really, they're very there today. They were right there today.
They were right there. So, I mean, it is something you want to go back and re-listen to everyone. And for sure. Aley, is there anything coming up today for shows? Anything you're doing that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we have our dream show tonight at 4:00 Pacific. That's 7 Eastern time. And bring your dreams. If you have a long one, email me with it, or you can email Terry or Diana or Kelly, whoever you want to, and one of us will bring that in. It does drain my energy, Edward, just a little bit, but I needed that vibrational lift, so I'm thinking it's going to be better. Yeah. But I haven't eaten today either. So,
and that actually connects you even more, though, I have to say. But
I've been drinking all my water. That's the good part.
Definitely. Water helps very much with the conduit. So I want to say, like and subscribe, Heart and Soul Connected.
And Vals,
Aley does
right, your light
readings.
crystals.
You can sign up for a reading on her website,
I'll
heart,
put it in the chat.
heart and soul connected online. So
Yeah. There's a multitude of choices as well. You can get a
check
dream
it out.
analysis. You can get a Akashic records. You can get an oracle reading.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. So
Yeah.
thank you all for being here, and we're sending lots of love to you. We appreciate you being with us
And
today.
thank you, Val, for being the
My
question.
pleasure.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm happy
Thanks,
to do it. I'm excited.
Thank you.
So
Uh-huh.
thank you all for joining
Thank
us.
you all. Have a beautiful day. Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.